Councillor Gary Marsh. I am the chairman of this committee. To my left is Councillor John Hitchcock, who is my vice chairman. To my right is Joe Fisher, team leader. To her right is Caroline, who's going to be leading on this agenda. We've got two legal solicitors here today, which is an honour. And in the two corners, I've got members from Democratic Services, and the members who are going to make the decision on the application today are out in front of me. So item 1 on the agenda is to note subjects in accordance with Rule Procedure 4, subjects of the meeting. I have none. I have received 2 apologies, Councillor Kenny and Councillor Cherry. And item 3 is to receive declarations of interest from members in respect of any matter on the agenda. I have none. And to agree by general information the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 22nd of May. Are they agreed? I'm going to get Councillor Hitchcock to sign because I wasn't here and he took over in my absence. Item 5 is to consider any items that the chairman agreed to take as urgent business. I have none, and we're here. And to item 6, why we're here for it. It's DM 24 3070 Old Lodge, Ditton Place, Brantridge Lane in Bolcombe. And Caroline, this is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. This application seeks planning permission for a single-storey field.
Speak up a little bit louder, please.
Sure. This application seeks planning permission for a single-storey field shelter on land adjacent to the Old Lodge, Ditton Place. It also comprises the addition of native hedging and trees. Members' attention is drawn to the update sheet as additional wording has been added to Appendix A in relation to the biodiversity net gain condition. This application relates to the Old Lodge, which is a detached dwelling located on a corner plot. It has Brantridge Lane, shown here, to the east of the site, and Ditton Place is to the north. Have you got it? It's not come through. Yes. Do you want to just check it?
Yeah, it's not plugged in. It's all plugged in. HDMI, is it?
Is it this one?
No. Yeah, have you got something plugged in, Solomon?
It's not showing up.
Do you want to start that bit again, or are we waiting for the...
Should we wait for the...
Okay.
Right, so that's plugged in.
That's my power cable, wasn't it?
Oh, right.
Got it. Oh, blimey. And wrong.
So, yes, to resume, this slide shows the location and block plan. So saying the application relates to the Old Lodge, the detached dwelling, which is on a corner plot, with Brantridge Lane, which is located to the east of the site, and Ditton Place, which is to the north. The dwelling has space to the side and the rear as garden space, and further owns the adjoining field, which is further down to the south and west. Field shelter is proposed as indicated on the plan to the west of the dwelling. The site is within the countryside and the high-wheeled area of outstanding natural beauty, and the highway to the north, Ditton Place, is also a public right-of-way. The proposal currently under consideration follows on from a refused application for a field shelter, which is shown on the slide here. This application was refused because it was considered to have an overly domestic appearance and would not appear as a single-storey ancillary rural building. It was also be visible within the street scene, and its scale, form and design were considered to create a dominant and incongruous feature that would be exacerbated by its elevated position. It was further considered to be out of proportion and divorced from the old lodge. Overall, this proposal was considered to be harmful in design terms, as it would fail to respect the intrinsic character and beauty of the countryside, and it was not considered to conserve or enhance the natural beauty of the AONB. This slide shows the application as it was originally submitted. While some changes had been made from the previous application in terms of the scale and design of the building, it was considered that these changes did not go far enough to overcome the previous reason for refusal. This is a scheme that is now under consideration following revisions that have been made to the development during the course of the application. Both the ridge and eaves height of the building have been reduced. The appearance of the building has been simplified, so it appears more of a functional design that is considered to respond appropriately to its purpose. It's to be open on one side and will have timber elevations and a slate roof. These are considered to be traditional materials that would appear appropriate in this location, would have longevity and would weather over time. The building has also been moved closer to the house, and it has been confirmed that the existing field gate is to be used and that no hard surfacing is to be installed. As set out in full in Appendix A, a number of conditions are recommended alongside those recommended by the ecologist and tree officer. These are in relation to the materials, that no doors shall be installed or hard standing, in relation to landscaping, and to restrict the use of the building to a field shelter. It should also be noted that this proposal only relates to the construction of a field shelter and planting, and it would not affect the current use of the land. This slide shows some photographs of the application property and the field looking westward along Ditton Place. It also shows the existing field gate. This side shows a closer view looking westwards, close to where the building is proposed, as well as two photographs looking back in the opposite direction. The photograph at the bottom shows the view across the field towards the old lodge where the building is to be sited. It's therefore concluded that the proposed development has overcome the previous reason for refusal. The proposed field shelter appears of a more appropriate scale, form and design for its purpose. Changes have also been made to its position, and with the recommended conditions, it's not considered to result in any harm to the countryside or the AONB. No objection has been raised by the tree officer or the ecologist to the proposed development, and it's considered that the scheme would not have a harmful impact on residential community, and it would also fulfil its requirements under biodiversity net gain. The recommendation before you is therefore for planning permission, subject to the conditions set out in Appendix A. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Caroline. You probably realise I called this into committee, along with Councillor Prescott, and you can understand why I called it in when you first saw what was refused, what came next, until what we finally got. And I thought what we had in the middle one was we're making it too urban effect in the countryside. Now, having seen that last iteration, I fully now will support this application, but I did want the members to just make that decision themselves. Now, they obviously, thanks to Caroline's extreme hard work on this, and it is extremely hard work, I know, that she's managed to get the site down to what we would expect to see a field shelter to be. And cast members' minds back to, again in my ward, the dog shelter we had down by the Cowdery Arms, which I called in for that one again because I thought it might have an effect on the countryside. It's very similar to what we gave planning permission for. So it would be remiss of me to then turn around and say, I don't agree with it. So I'm happy to propose it, but before any would happen.
Thank you, Chairman. Remember, Chairman's supposed to be objective.
I was.
Thank you. Are there any windows in this? No. Could you show me on the diagram the position of this proposed field building to the main residence? I'd like to know the location. I can't see it on that. Could you point it out with, I can't read that.
Oh, sorry, it's there.
It's too small.
It's a little box.
Yes.
And the main building is just to the right, and it's like 7 meters, they said, 7 meters away, I believe, from the main building. Okay, thank you very much. That's what my questions.
Vice Chairman?
Yeah. Caroline, can you just confirm, please, that by giving this permission, the land will still remain a paddock, and that if any further development is required, it will be necessary for another planning application?
Yes, I can confirm that the DS application will not affect the use of the land, and as development would require planning permission, then the applicant would be required to submit any further applications as appropriate.
Thank you. Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Chair. Caroline, you didn't mention the comment from Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council, Section 6. Do I take it that they're referring to the previous building with the large roof and the Velux windows or something, not what's before us now? Thank you.
The comments at section 6 are the last comments that were received from the Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council after a reconsultation was requested on the revised plans that were received. And these comments from the Parish Council have been taken into account as part of the assessment in the design section.
Yeah, of course you can.
Thank you. But they're saying it's dominant. It doesn't. It's a particularly dominant with almost 3 meters of internal height. It didn't seem to me to be dominant. So I don't understand the discrepancy there.
I think in the previous 2 iterations, it would have been dominant. But I think now they've shrunk it down, taken the windows out. And if you go to page, it's to do the conditions, and I think Caroline is adequately laid out the conditions, that it can only be used for what it's, the conditions for what it's actually in for. We can't expect to put anything else other than what you expect to find in the field shelter. So I do think that we've probably got as far as we can on this one, and I'm happy to support it now. Can I have a seconder? Oh yes, and that's including the update sheet, which the permission is still tacked on the end of Appendix A on page 21. And I shall read it out. The permission is considered to be one which will require the approval of biodiversity game plan before development began, brackets, which includes demolition. There is no demolition, because none of the statutory exemptions or transitional arrangements are considered to apply. So with that added, Councillor Sweatman, are you going to second it? Okay, thank you. So as always, if you can go to the voting page, green if you support it, red you don't, yellow you're abstaining. Yep, we're all here. That is unanimous and that has been approved. Thank you very much. All right, going back to my crib sheet agenda. We have nothing for refusal. I have nothing in other matters. Item 8 is questions pursuant to Council Procedure Rule 10.2. Due notice which has been given. I have none, and I close the meeting at 4:15, 5 minutes longer than Councillor Kinsella. Oh, we probably would have done. So can I just ask everybody to sit in the